All right, Greg, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Shaftsbury Select Board meeting for the Monday, June 17th, 2013. This is a regularly scheduled Select Board meeting. Start out tonight, does any member of the board have a conflict of interest with any item that's on the agenda this evening?
No.
None here.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, approval of minutes. I believe we have a copy of minutes finally done by our new recording clerk to review tonight. Nicely done, Sean.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Is there any discussions?
The only question I had was on page 3, and Craig, you'll remember this because, and I just didn't remember that the chair usually makes a motion. I thought you asked for a motion on the cartographic technologies.
I would say that is an accurate recollection, Karen.
Okay.
I think that's exactly what happened, is that I did ask for a motion.
I think I actually made the motion. And then down in the next paragraph down, maybe it was you who said that, I wasn't sure if it was Margie or Ken asked if other companies had bid. Craig replied there were 3 vendors. I didn't know if that was you or if it would have been the listers, maybe Larry who would have replied. Was it you, Craig? I just, you all knew that you had called other vendors or on this GIS stuff, right?
Yeah, actually, I believe that it may have been Larry that replied to that answer, now that I think
thought it was either Larry or Jim or somebody.
Well, we're going to give you credit if that's all right.
And then, let's see, on page 4, well, I guess, under unlicensed dog report, the last sentence in the first paragraph, the select board then debated that the animal control would be best to handle this. I thought it was just that we determined it. I don't remember that we had, I think we were all sort of in agreement.
Yes.
I wasn't sure there was, I just didn't want to give it the sense that some didn't think that animal control should handle that. Am I recollecting that
That's how I would remember
correctly?
it. How I choose to remember it, anyway.
And then there's just a tiny little edit in the 3rd paragraph down in that same section. Last sentence, constables to enforce the laws should, if you could just insert a B, should be a last resort. Meaning, as I remember it, that the animal control
Should start there.
that the enforcement needs to come from there. And that was all I had. I thought they looked great.
Pretty good accomplishment for the first time with new
exactly.
names and new topics.
Yeah.
Unless you'd been doing a lot of research, digging into the old the archive of Cat TV's files or something to review this stuff.
I was very impressed.
Any other discussion, corrections, comments? There being none, all those in favor of approving the minutes of June 3rd, 2013 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Mr. Corman abstains, so the motion would be 401 in favor of approving those minutes. Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda. Announcements. Carl.
We're missing warrants. I think you need to have warrants.
I don't think did anybody on the board have an issue with adding warrants before we talk about announcements?
Nope.
We probably should pay the bills.
The announcement is that the warrants were left off, right?
Here we go. All right, so let's do that. Thank you, Margie. Good catch. All right, first of all, we have retirement warrant PR 49R in the amount of $132.40.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor of approving payroll warrant 49R, retirement warrant PR 49R, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have payroll warrant number, all right. Payroll warrant 50, there we go. I always have to find that one. In the amount of $6,578.13.
Motion to approve?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor of approving payroll warrant 50 signify by saying aye.
Wait a minute, we're out of sync here.
I'm a little bit confused because we've got 49R,
Set this along, we haven't
What?
approved that yet.
but that one was
All we've done is the retirement warrant.
132.40,
That's
right? And that other one was attached to it, so.
We're having trouble. See? All right. Let's do this again. We have a motion and a second for payroll warrant 50. All those in favor of approving that payroll warrant number 50 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Margie.
Next, that was attached to something else I sent down, payroll warrant 49 in the amount of $7,042.60.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor of approving payroll warrant 49 signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries unanimously. Last and not least, we have check warrant number 33 in the amount of $73,004.94.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Items of interest, or at least those above $1,000. William Barney Construction in the amount of $1,462.50. That would be for gravel. Bennington Banner for $1,282.25. We have,
That's a
Bids
boatload
or-
of bids and
Okay.
lawn ads for people and
okay.
DRB, et cetera.
John Ray and Sons, there are actually 3 invoices on here for about $2,200 approximately in 3 different warrants.
Is that all diesel?
John Ray is all diesel.
$1,593.76 to Mountain Air Assessor
For May.
for May. TAM Incorporated, there are 2 invoices totaling just short of $6,800. $6,700 is for the April services, and there's another small one for $53. The big boy this month, or this week, is to North Bennington Water Department for $45,328. VRS Sales Limited, $1,761.66. Do we have a sense of what that one is?
Without looking at the invoice, that's fire department.
Okay, that's what I knew it would come to me. Wells Communications, $1,005.50.
That's probably also fire.
Wills Insurance, $1,198.42. That's noted as the Recreation Department Accident Insurance Coverage Policy. And that's it. Everything else is under $1,000. Most of it well under $1,000. Many small invoices.
Bill's doing a good job labeling.
Yes.
Yep.
Any discussion, questions on anything? There being none, all those in favor of approving check warrant number 33, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Only one. Now we can do our announcements. Carl, other than welcome back.
I can only say it is very good to be back home, and I'm very happy to be here once again. I have no plans of leaving in time before Christmas.
That is good to know. Ken? Mitchell?
Yes, just another note on the Historical Society. We have a trip to Historic Deerfield this Saturday, and if anyone would like to go, we still have seats available on the bus. We leave at 8:30 from the station in Bennington, and we return around 4:30. You get entrance, bus ride down and back for $30. If you're interested, you can get tickets at the Bennington Museum or the Chocolate Barn.
Thank you.
They're going fast, so hurry.
Karen?
No, I guess I should just do it under other business reporting on the dog ordinance thing that
Okay.
Ken and I went to. Yeah. No, other than that, no.
Okay. Margie?
Very briefly, for transfer station users, the new fiscal year 14 access permits are on sale, $20, which is good for 2 cars. They're green stickers this year, and you'll see people at the transfer station starting tomorrow, but they're also available here in the town offices.
Thank you.
And those are effective the day you buy them and through next June 30th.
Thank you. I have no announcements this evening. So I guess that brings us to Bill, financial reports.
Where did public comments go?
We didn't have public comments either?
We need to do that.
Okay, so Bill, if you don't mind, you can stay right there if you like. Man, we did not, we kind of didn't do so well. Sorry, I did not catch that. Public comments. We're going to do this the right way, be darned, document or otherwise. Any public comments regarding anything that's not on the agenda this evening? Okay.
Carol? But you're not on the agenda. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is public comments right
This
now.
is public comments right now.
For you, for people that of the public that would like to talk.
Nancy and I have 2 separate issues.
Okay.
Since they're on the beat, we're going to take a road, and now most of you, I go up here.
I think we need the speaker so they can hear you on
Yeah.
television.
Yeah. Yeah. Take that right.
I've been here before on television, you always change your arrangements.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want me to start over again?
Yeah, that would be, just be helpful to make sure that our TV audience can hear you.
Right. Well, I'm here quite a bit on the same topic. Carol Minky, 278 Tinkham Road, Shaftsbury, Vermont. I'm here about the dog issue in town right now, which is not just the licensing issue, but the barking issue, the running around issue, same issue. I have here, which I haven't read, a note from my neighbor, Chrislyn Capriola, on Myers Road, who cannot be here because she's working tonight, but she's written something. I have not read it, and I think it needs to be read into the minutes by somebody,
Feel free. That would be okay.
if you trust me.
Yep.
Okay. I am an English teacher.
Oh.
Carol, would it be more comfortable for you to sit in the chair there?
Fine.
Oh.
6/17/13, to whom it may concern. We live at 2174 Myers Road. About 2 weeks ago, we heard continuous, underlined, barking through the woods all day for at least a week, underlined, straight. I have not heard, underlined, any more barking for a few days now. I don't want anyone to think it is my dog, as it is hard to tell where barking is coming from. Last year, we did have a group of hunting dogs run through our yard, and I do not know if they were the same dogs. There were definitely more than 1 or 2 dogs barking. Kristen Capriola, and she signed her name and address. I had gone over to speak to Kristen, and we both realized the dogs were coming from a side road that used to be a woodlot, well, it is a woodlot road up to Phil Barrett's woodlot. The cabin there is owned by some folks called Campbell. I went up with a sticky note suggesting they do something about the barking because I was going to have to contact the dog officer. There were 8 dogs kenneled there. I didn't count them, I just saw a lot of dogs. And next I heard, well, I didn't hear back from the dog officer. I didn't hear from anyone. I came to town and spoke with Judy within a day or 2.
You talked to me too.
Yeah, there were you and you. At one point, I called Tracy back and she said she would not do anything for just one person complaining and the dogs were just fine. So Chrislyn, I left her Tracy's number, and Kristen called Tracy herself about it. At which point things started to quiet down. My suggestion in my note was either no bark collars or muzzles, because these are hound dogs. And when they get loose, they really go. They pack up. This has been a problem for the last 14 years, packs of dogs. I grew up opposite Donnie Peters, so forgive me if I have a tender spot for dog packs. This is unacceptable. It's been going on as long as I returned, which was in '99. I remember having the same conversation here 14 years ago on camera. Not that house, but the one closer to the corner. Last year is the one closer to the corner. The house is just split. Helene Stratton on the corner has been renting hers, so you get renters every year. The Campbell house has changed hands. Campbell was before them, Bryce was before them. I mean, you know, divorce, basically. It makes life pretty miserable for us who are having, you know, to deal with it. Like Kristen, she has a couple of dogs of her own, sometimes she dogs with her friends. So when all 12 dogs were barking, even Larry could hear them up at the Bro Farm. I realize we live in the country, but people do not have the right to just sit there and just speak. And I will not tolerate it. I'm done. Which means I'm actually done with the current dog officer. What I suggest is we make an effort not to fire anyone or let anyone go or have anyone present about this, but to look within the towns of Shaftsbury and Glastonbury for a dog officer, the way we used to have town dog officers. Somebody who's local, doesn't go away in the winter, someone who doesn't have a kennel business, someone who's willing to house and care for a certain number of dogs, maybe 5, I don't know what the limit would be, who's willing to go and investigate and pick up and care for starving dogs. The last time I brought one to Tracy, and I had to bring it because she will not come and get them, she has an excuse. One was, my truck's broken down. I brought a starving dog. It was 2 years ago. It's good weather. It was running down Tinkham Road. I managed to catch it. I brought it to her. She had her Rottweilers out. She said, don't get out of the car. Don't get out of the car. This is my property. Don't get out of the car. I said, I have a starving dog for you. And I took the dog out of the leash. She pushed it back in. I finally just stood on the running board and I said, you're going to be fired. Okay, it's taken me 2 years. I'm sorry. But we need another dog.
Thank you. Betsy.
I have comments on the dog issue too. Hi, I'm Betsy Williamson. I live at 794 Ranger Hollow Road on Shaftsbury. My only concern with the dog warden, I had 15 months ago, I had 2, I guess they were bear hounds, come into my yard. It was a really rainy night. They were just loading the focus roads, and I had to keep them with me. I couldn't get a hold of our dog officer it was like 2 days before I got hold of somebody. I ended up taking them to the United States Emergency Hospital and having taken care of, and then turning them over. They did have New York State tags, even though I picked them up in Vermont, and then turning them over to New York State. But all of this took time, and it wasn't an efficient system. So I understand that nobody works 24/7. Everybody deserves a vacation. So if we do have a dog officer, we really need to have a backup so that when an emergency like that does arise, it can be taken care of. Just for humane reasons, just for the dogs needed treatment. They needed to be seen by someone immediately. So that's my concern, is just coverage. How can we get coverage when somebody's on vacation? And everybody needs a vacation, so there should be an assistant warden or something to cover that gap. And just, when you make a phone call, you need to have a return phone call within a reasonable amount of time. Or the system's not working, and it's the animals really that are suffering because of this. So that's my concern with the issues. The second issue I have, or second concern I have, there are some absolutely beautiful stone walls in Granger Hollow, and it's come to my attention that the town of Shaftsbury is going to remove those stone walls this summer to widen Granger Hollow Road and put ditches in. Stone walls were built over a period of 400 years, and there's a lot of history there. There's also a stone foundation on the property. My daughter and I are in the process of rebuilding the stone wall that runs along in front of our property in order to preserve that. And I just wonder why they have to be dug up and removed and ditched. Is there any way that the town can work to preserve them and still do what they need to do to maintain the road? That's the question.
Terry?
Well, your section of road right there is only about 15 feet wide. With a school bus or that other Green Mountain Express bus going up through there, and the water is running right down the road in front of your house. Actually, you or your daughter called the complaint of the water running into your drive.
We fixed our driveway, so that's not an issue at this point.
But you do realize the water is running right down the road there.
Is there a way to ditch the other side of the road?
Well, actually, the swamp, the water line is on your side where we sort of...
That's not necessarily true. There's swamp on both sides of the road.
Well, that is true. The water's coming down your side, that is.
Actually, it's coming down both sides of the road, and the culvert for the neighbor is on the opposite side. Mr. Can't remember his name, but the driveway across your neighbor, there's a culvert already there. The swamp is on both sides of the road, and if you look at the way that the road is washing, it's equal down both sides of the road.
Right.
I just have some concerns historically about saving the stone walls, and we just can't keep removing them, which has happened all over the country.
May I speak? Kathy and Richard Hope live across from her, and they've had issues with the town for years over their culvert. Same problem when they do live on the opposite side, they have a water problem. The water does come down from their side.
That may actually, again, I'm not familiar with the place in question, and I'll defer to Terry, but the issues, we have to develop ways to drain. So, and I tend to concur that, we try not to just tear stuff down just for the sake of doing it. However, we do have to also make sure that we maintain the roads properly, passable, and so that they don't wash. Then we're throwing good money after bad, because if the gravel washes away, then we buy more and put it down.
I understand completely about safety, maintenance, and all of that, and we all like good roads to travel on. I just want to travel on a popular road. I get that. But in the interest of conserving some history, maybe we should look at the other side of the road for the ditch. There's already a ditch on that side and culvert on that side.
Well, I'll defer to Terry. We'll take a look at it, and then we'll come up with whatever the best plan is.
Do you know when that whole, when that's supposed to start?
That wasn't in the near future.
Okay. The neighbor had said that to me, so I wanted to be proactive in getting it out there, that some of us really want to preserve these things.
Can I just confirm, is that your recommendation to the board, that they ditch the other side?
Yeah, there's no stone wall on the other side, and water runs down equally both sides of the road. And there's also all the phone poles, all the electricity poles are on the side that they want to ditch. And there's no phone poles on the other side. No power
I just
poles.
wanted to verify that that's what you're asking the board to
Yes.
consider, as opposed to don't do it.
Yeah, no, I understand maintenance and all of that, assuming the stone wall runs the entire length of that road, pretty much. all the way to the end, to dead end road.
And again, only just for sake of clarification, just so that you are aware, the state statute is very clear that we as the town do have right to...
I understand.
Okay, and I just want to make sure of that, because...
And I know that there's a right of way there to do what we need to do to maintain roads. I'm aware of that. I'm just asking for...
Do we have any room between your stone wall and the road at all? I mean,
Yeah, there's some.
the only problem is, and you're aware of it, the whole other side is all trees this far from the road. All of your side is all field.
Yes.
Well, I think that the power pole all the way through, I'm not sure, I don't want to get into the engineering of all of this, I don't understand it. I'm asking for you to consider preserving our stone walls because we really can't afford to lose any more of them.
All right, well, thank you. I
Thank you
appreciate your...
very much.
Can I ask a question of the other lady?
Yes.
Carol. Carol.
Carol?
Carol.
Carol, can I ask a question?
Of course.
You said that the dogs are barking incessantly during the day. Do they bark through the night too?
I think dogs bark, hound dogs, when they feel so moved.
And when you say hound dogs, to me a hound dog is a howler. Are they howling or are they just barking?
Baying.
Do they,
Okay. And so day and night?
as it moves down.
Day and night, that's how I understand it.
I'm not a hound dog, I can't speak for them.
What you heard, what
I
did
just
you...
sleep sometimes in between.
So when you go to bed at night, do you hear them barking sometimes?
Anything further from the board have for the audience, or the questions regarding the testimony? Or comments, I should say, not the testimony, comment. Thank you. Are there any other public comments? Okay. Financial reports. Bill.
Good evening.
Hi.
I believe you have a copy of the general fund revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance report. Came to you in a PDF format, I believe. This report compares our fiscal year budget to the fiscal year ending June 30th. About 17 days away when this report was prepared. Actual financial results through June 13th. And a forecast for the remaining days of the fiscal year so that we are projecting where we'll come out at the end of the fiscal year. This is a combined effort of Margie and me. She has a much greater in-depth understanding of the operating activities of the town than I do. So what we've done here is evaluate each of the major categories of accounts that we have. As far as revenues are concerned, we expect that we will end the year approximately $52,000 over the revenue budget. That means our revenues will be $52,000 higher than we expected, principally from two sources. One is the tax revenue, and two are the intergovernmental revenues. The state highway aid was higher than budgeted. So that gives us a $52,000 excess there. On the expenditure side, the major categories, starting with general government, we're forecasting to about a $321,000 expenditure against a budget of $337,000. So we'll be underspent by approximately $17,000. You can see the major categories: administration and Cole Hall. The delinquent tax collector is slightly over budget due to increased collections, and the tax collector is paid as he collects, and this represents his Social Security tax on his collections. And then the listers are under budget by about $4,700. So that category is contributing about $17,000 in round numbers. In public safety, again, we're projecting approximately $113,000 against a budget of $120,000, which means that we have a favorable result of approximately $7,000. The largest share of that is due to the fire warden's truck. which was budgeted for a higher figure than was actually expended. And that's the $6,400, essentially the $6,400 savings there. In Public Works, again, we're looking at about $909,000 or $910,000 projected at the end of the year against a budget of $947,000. That is $38,000 favorable. Most of that is due to the expenditures on the highway garage. Those expenditures for the garage were not all made, and so we're about $3,700 favorable in that area. Planning and development, as you can see, we're about $1,400 favorable there. Community appropriations, there were a couple of items that the voters did not approve, and that accounts for the $1,100 of that category. County tax was about $400 less than budgeted. And our debt service expenditures were offsetting, they were about $8,700 more than we budgeted. So our total expenditures were budgeted to be approximately $1,780,000, and they're around $1,720,000. So there's a $56,000 or $57,000 favorable variance at that for expenditures. When you combine the results of revenue and expenditures, we are approximately $109,000, projecting to be $109,000 ahead of where we thought we would be. We have operating transfers in and out, and that leaves us with a net fund balance at the end of the year. We're projecting to be about $360,000. The original budget was to spend down the fund balance by $124,000, and that would leave us with $196,000. At this point in time, we're looking at approximately break even for the year, and that means that the fund balance will be somewhere around $320,000 to $360,000 at the end of the year.
I have a question for you, Bill.
Sure.
I'm a little curious about the debt service expenditures that were somewhat more than anticipated, because I would have thought debt service is something that would be easily calculable throughout the year. Why was that not so?
That's a good question.
Let me look at my notes here.
Because, I mean, the interest rates and the debt is known, and normally it doesn't change. Did we have a mistake?
The payment on truck 2 replacement and the backhoe payment, that came in a little bit above budget. That's at $46,496. Other than that, the actual expenses for the fire truck were $4,400 over, so we're about 4 and 4, about 8,000 over on debt service.
So in other words, our estimated debt based on our acquiring debt service was a little bit low based on what we could actually get.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
So that's good news.
Yes, it is good. I expect that we'll end the year with approximately $325,000 in cash balance. Our taxes receivable are slightly lower than they were last year at this time, and we still have the possibility of receiving additional tax collections. So that's another positive that we have there. The general fund will recover the amount that was paid for the water bill from the water department and everything.
Yeah, it looks great.
Any other questions for our treasurer?
Bill and Margie,
Thank you, Bill and Marie.
terrific job through the whole year. Thank
And to
you.
you.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, Terry, you're up next. Have a good evening, Bill.
Terry, could I make fill that out? Oh, okay. I'll just take notes as you walk us through.
No, that's second. We're going to just because it's not the way it's on the agenda. First of all, we had asked to have just some updates on the total cost of our surplus loader, the one that we'd bought. We have that. If you see, you have a copy of the note that, or some notes that Margie put together for us in Bill. Originally, we had budgeted up to $16,000 to purchase I think initially we were calling it a backhoe, but basically the idea was to get another machine to load things. Kind of puts us in a bad spot if our we only had one means of loading our vehicles previously. Kind of put us in a bad spot if that one went down. So we were able to find, Terry was able to find for us a loader through the government surplus website. And basically we took it from there. We ended up purchasing it. And it cost just over 11 grand to actually purchase it and to get it here. Actually, I think realistically, it costs us about that much to transport it and a few pennies to buy it, but all things considered, that's kind of how it shook out. And then we ended up buying a bucket because it was it had forklift tines on it. What we didn't realize, and Terry can elaborate further if I drift off course, is that with the forklift setup, it ends up with the hydraulics aren't as long, if you will, this is something that Ken would understand, probably more than maybe the rest of us. The hydraulics were not long enough, and the forks don't tip fully like a bucket on a loader does. So as a result, it required some re-engineering, which we've been doing since we got it, and I believe that those efforts have reached a conclusion or are real close to it. So, but as a result, the re-engineering and the various parts that we've purchased to bring it to that time have brought us slightly over budget. We had budgeted 16 grand. Originally, we thought it was going to end up being a little bit of savings, but we ended up being over, according to this, by about $1,800 net to bring us to fruition, I guess we'll call it. Terry, did I leave anything out in that?
No, we got it figured out. I had to buy a 4-yard bucket, but it's the only one I could find, and that's too big for the machine, so we just have to cut the bucket down to about 2 1/4 yard bucket and reinforce it, and it's all set to go.
I will say this, that it has been a little bit of a labor of love putting it together. I've had a chance just to kind of watch it a little bit and watch the engineering on it. I've actually been pretty darn impressed by the ability to re-engineer this piece of equipment. And it's my understanding from what I hear from Margie and from Terry that even the folks at John Deere are pretty interested in it as well. And they've basically been after Terry to kind of give up some design plans and whatever, but he's not given up any yet. So maybe we'll keep that in our back pocket and sell it for, we'll patent it or something and sell some stuff back to John Deere maybe. But at any rate.
The ingenuity.
Yeah.
Where there's a will, is a way.
Yeah. Two cups on a string for a phone.
They'd have to give you a new one.
Yeah. So all in all, the question had been is that it seemed like we were nickel and diamond, and we were getting we knew we were getting close to where it initially anticipated, and we are just slightly over, but I still think we're going to end up, it appears that we're going to end up still with a reasonably inexpensive piece of equipment that, if you've actually viewed it, much like the one other truck that we purchased a year ago, these vehicles are, even though they're older in model year, they're virtually brand new and should end up being reasonably inexpensive comparatively piece of equipment that we'll have around for a long time to...
use that dump truck every day, and it just keeps going and going.
Right. We'll hope that the loader jumps into that same functionality going forward, but...
Maybe just so I can mentally get, is that big thing that's in the garage? It's kind of horizontally parked with a huge...
The dump truck or the loader?
The loader.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's big.
It's a large piece of equipment.
realistically, it's not a big loader, but it looks big.
Yeah. So that's kind of what brings us up to speed on the cost. Any questions on that or further comment?
No.
Okay. All right, now, then in that case, we'll move on. The next item is the truck body bids for the new 1 ton, 1.5 ton that we're purchasing here. Yep.
I sent 5, taxes out to 5 different vendors. And Margie placed an ad in the banner. We received 3 that I sent out and 1 extra from Goss Dodge. Actually, before I get into this, should we speak about the truck first, or?
No.
No.
We'll stick to the body.
Okay.
Yeah, just about.
Well, Goss Dodge took, I guess, what they're telling me was the information out of the paper, so they sent back a pretty generic bid that did not cover everything on the spec sheet. Since then, they've given me another one, but they weren't on time and they weren't full. So I don't know if we don't just...
Well, another way of maybe rephrasing is that the bid was less complete than the others.
Very less.
And and we can look at it as a non-conforming bid. When you went back and talked with them today about clarifying their bid.
They were missing a lot of items on it, but they didn't have the electric hoist on it, they didn't have the light package on it, they only bid a 9-foot plow.
Is this the one that says, please note the 8-foot body is too small, therefore we're proposing a 9.4-foot body?
No, that was...
That's different.
Yeah, that's Goss.
No, that is good, yeah.
Yeah,
That's got.
yeah.
Yes, and all the rest of them had the updated, they got the one on the paper or the banner.
Because I went and looked at the solicitation. The solicitation calls for an 8-foot body, and they're bidding a 9-foot body. In my mind, I'd throw them out.
But all the rest of them also bid 9-foot body.
We changed it. Everyone got the news that it was a 9-foot body.
I see.
It was supposed to be a 9-foot body. That isn't why I would say we would eliminate them for the bid. They just were missing so many things. And to me, and Ken probably follow along with this, Arrowhead didn't, and Viking didn't list they just did a plow package. In my mind, the plow package covers some of that.
Everything looks like what you got there.
No, this Margie asked me to do apples for apples.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I'm
Get a
explaining
matrix,
it.
we don't
Okay.
have the matrix.
Okay.
Lucky's has everything itemed out that was on the bid sheet, where like Arrowhead just put down complete plow package. That means the lights, that means the twin hoists that move it. They just didn't label it all out individually. So I don't know if that's non-conforming.
That doesn't mean that to me. I don't know what it means.
No, it doesn't
And so
necessarily.
did Viking, they did the same thing, but they said complete plow package. When you buy a plow for a truck, you get everything, lights, you get the frame, you get all the extra things that we asked for, like the carbide blade is listed, the yellow lights for the roof is listed, the strobe lights is listed. They did do all that, they just worded complete plow package.
They identified each individual part within the...
I did call each one and I asked, this does include all these things? Yeah, complete plow package, that's a plow package, yes.
Okay.
So, but I just wanted to let you know it's not listed out in their bid specs, like Lucky's was. So, otherwise than that, these 3 are all to spec.
So we think, okay, we
These three
have
all are-
three good bids.
3 good bids.
Okay.
And as you can see on these here,
So which 3 are we talking that are good bids? Lucky?
Lucky's, Arrowhead, and Viking. We took the yellow light off of the truck we're selling, so we could eliminate that. That was on the new one, I wasn't going to keep it, but I haven't said anything to them, I just showed you the differences if you want.
You're losing us.
Yeah.
How about, okay, we've now said that we have 3 conforming bids.
Right.
Everybody's seen the prices, so how did you come up on your prices?
Lucky's Then Arrowhead.
Can you read off the prices?
Sure.
We have to announce that.
Did you have them on, did you put them on here?
Yes, I did. Well, the prices with the yellow light included, if that's how you want
Who
it,
are you starting with?
Lucky's
The yellow.
Is the low bidder?
is the low bidder, $24,042.
24042? Mm-hmm. And that takes the 4930, the 3000, the 8265.
Yeah.
The 6247, and then,
I added that in
and then did you add in the 940?
yes. We can take that off, we bring
That's
in
what I got.
23,102.
And then you didn't add in the 360 and 360?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or 300,
They're
you
all
did it
included.
all, okay.
All.
Okay.
Terry, where on this one is this hoist? I'm trying to
It's right here on
understand
the
this
the
stuff.
second page.
Scissor hoist
I mean, one, for instance, the Viking has an electric dump body hoist.
Yep, right here. on
What's the
page.
comparable for, yeah, I
For
know.
Lucky's?
Where is it on Lucky's, yeah?
Right here, is this the hydraulic scissor hoist?
Oh, is that it? Okay, the 3,000, okay, got it. Thank you.
Viking came in at $30,100.
Yep, that's what I got too.
And Arrowhead was $24,998.
Close.
What was Viking?
$30,100.
And
The
Arrowhead,
Arrowhead was, did they total it or no?
24,998.
Oh, yeah, 998.
Got a question.
Yeah.
All these bids, everything you got, there's a lot of electricity there. Anybody get any oversized alternators on it?
Batteries.
Dual batteries?
Dual batteries.
With extra alternator or no?
They said that this 5500 Dodge, the alternator size was adequate for plows and for,
Okay, because you got electric hoist, electric sander,
right.
electric
I'd
plow.
never be running the sander and the dump body at the same time, so,
Well, no, you wouldn't there, but, I
right.
mean, that's, have you got any reports on them sanders? Because I've heard of some of them electric sanders don't like daily sand.
This is only for salt.
Oh, just salt only?
This is salt only, this truck. I'm trying to lighten the truck up as much as I can to try to start becoming into weight when we're loaded.
I have a general question. Are you done? Okay. You done?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have just, I mean, it says on this GOS that they won't, the 10-foot commercial is not approved by Fisher for Dodge 5500.
Right.
That's why they was.
I have called 2 other dealers, plus Arrowhead themselves, and they said that all town trucks are fitted with 10-foot plows, and Foster Motors did verify that they put it in writing that they'll still warranty the truck. With a 10-foot plow, they understand why it's on this truck.
Okay. I just,
That's a big deal, the warranty part. Most of the time, when you get trucks and you start using them for any commercial use, the companies decide that they don't like to warranty them, or at least not willingly, so.
Let me tell you, it's 300 pounds more for the 10-foot plow versus the other one. This extra heavy-duty supported truck, if I use my head and don't carry it around for a month in the summertime, it shouldn't do anything more to the truck.
So how do we sit with this plow plus the body in terms of the budget?
I think we
Figure
budgeted
that we budget.
75,000, so
And
it would be about 63, I think.
we have the body bid, I mean, the truck bid that we accepted. Let me just remember. 44,877.
okay, well,
Can that sander use sand?
Sure, sure.
Because I don't,
Minus
I
warrant.
wouldn't think it'd be a good idea to have,
yeah.
cut it down so you had one truck couldn't sand.
No, both the 1-tons do the salt, they do the black tops.
Yeah, but you should have an occasion where you were gonna put sand in them.
Well, yeah, and this is like Matt Morris has, the town of North Bennington, they put sand through theirs.
Yeah.
But the reason I got the electric was for the reason of the salt, they're more sealed up and.
Well, no, I know that, Terry, but what I'm saying is, I don't know about this sander, because I've never seen one of these.
Right.
But I have heard of some of those sanders don't like daily sand because of the size of the stone that's in their sand. And that they tend to jam up.
Yeah.
If they're electric. If they're hydraulic, they don't have a problem.
Other reason I went with this one is the top's closed on it, to keep the moisture out.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm not finding fault with that. I'm just saying that I've heard of some of these guys from different suppliers. Like down there, if you go down to, name escapes me, down there, going into Troy, Hell Brothers. They've got, electric sander. And they had trouble, because I've got the same sander I've got on my truck. But mine's a gas engine. And they used they couldn't use they had to bring it back, change it.
I really don't know, Ken, this is a new.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with any of these standards, so I can't pass judgment on
I
it.
went to the show up there and they were very high on this. They said they've got a lot of towns up north using it, they love them.
Yeah.
I've talked to Matt Morris that owns one, he says, besides that he's never had an issue with it, the best thing is, one guy can take it, slide it off the truck, it stands right on its end, and there it sits.
Yeah.
You back the truck back up, and one guy can put it back on the truck, 4 straps, and it's on.
Yeah.
There you go.
Can I ask you a question? Did
Yes.
our solicitation specify electric or hydraulic, or was just up to whatever they wanted to propose?
No, I put in the bid a stainless steel sander or the polycaster sander. They all bid the polycaster.
I'm not sure how that translates to hydraulic or electric based on what the Ken is.
Oh, for the polycaster, I specified
Dual electric
electric.
sanders.
Dual electric motor.
Dual electric.
For the
So it was
polycaster,
part of the solicitation?
yes.
Okay, so Ken, your comment, if you had a concern with it, we'd have to go back for another solicitation.
Well, no, not really. I was just more questioning
If we had,
what type of sander with the electric drive. There are some types of sanders having trouble with daily sand. These I don't
I
understand.
don't know the answer to
Not
that. I
using
guess.
this.
It's not all electric sanders, it's just sometimes.
No, I'm not familiar with any of these sanders she's got.
But this is specific to salt,
This is gonna be just
not
resolved.
sand.
How are we gonna guarantee that that's so?
well,
Have we ever done that before?
Yeah, the 1 ton. Timmy, once in a while, with his bigger body on his truck, will go help the guys. I have never had sand in mine, it wouldn't work, it wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
They told me before, it won't spread sand, the spinner won't
Yep.
spread it out.
Yep.
So I always use salt.
So if we're a little, over 6,000 under, is there anything else that needs to go into this? Do we need to pay more for warranties?
Well, we have a
or
warrant, we don't have a warranty.
we have no warranty on this?
Not on the bid. Not only that, we do have another issue we should talk about.
No, the truck actually comes with a
It doesn't say it on,
3 or 4 year warranty, correct?
I didn't see it on the,
I think it's a
On the
standard
proposal.
warranty, it's not a,
not like an
all-
extended warranty.
yeah, it's like the regular one you get when you buy the vehicle there.
as you can see from attached. All I had attached was the
I didn't
configuration.
think to ask Dick that.
So do you get warranties for, we've got the truck body, but I'm hearing there's a lot of electronics in this system
Right in this
that
bid,
we're bidding
getting
on right
extra
now.
motors. Right in this bid, we've already got 2 extra motors coming with it.
Okay, so does that mean we don't need a warranty
Well,
on the mechanics of this thing?
if you want me to take the best guess I could give you, I'd say at least for 4 or 5 years, we're covered for motor problems, for the sander. That's for the sander.
That the warranty covers
There's
us?
no warranty on that part of it, only on the truck.
Then how do you say we have 4 or 5 years that we're covered?
Because I've got 2 extra motors coming with the sander included in the bid, just to back us up so we don't have to buy anything like that.
And what about the hoist thing? Sorry, I don't know anything. You do. I don't know
Well,
anything,
the-
other than, when my car breaks,
The hoist
I
is
want it
only
under
gonna, the hoist is
warranty.
only gonna work when the sander's not on the truck.
Yeah, this is for summer for dumping mulch or brush or something off it. This truck won't be used much for that as like the big dump trucks are.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
very minimal size.
Yeah, this is, it allows it the bed to dump when we need it in the summer, but it doesn't operate like a dump truck.
Okay.
I'm never too hot on warranties, especially paying a whole lot of money for them, because from my experience, warranties are loosey-goosey and typically not worth a whole heck of a lot.
I don't think we have any options, unless Craig tells me different, on a vehicle this size. Like the big trucks, you have all kinds of warranties you can buy. This is regular.
Yeah, you're lucky to get anything.
At the local dealership, and I think whatever warranty comes with it is the only one, unless you bought an extended warranty, whatever that may be, but I don't think we've ever done that on a regular vehicle like this.
Now, the sander that you say Matt Morris's guy is the same one
Yes,
and he uses sand in this,
yes,
and he's obviously using daily sand, so.
yes.
Because that was my only concern, Terry.
Yeah, but I never asked him that question, so I
But, you
can't really.
know, no, but what I'm saying is, I would hate to see a truck sitting over there that can't be used for nothing but salt.
Oh, we got one right.
That, to me, is, well,
Yeah, we don't want it to go there, but
But I hear what you're saying, but I promise you 99% of the time, this does the village. It
Yeah.
does Ledger's Drive, it does North Bennington, that's all it does.
yeah.
Okay. So do we need a motion?
Well, before you
Are we
make a
at that
motion,
point?
I'd like to update the board. Terry and I got calls last week from the Foster Motors, from who are buying the truck,
the body,
From.
or the chassis.
the cab and chassis. And there is a shortage of transmissions for the 2013s, which we had on order. So they have never experienced this before. Now, Terry, you had one conversation, and then I followed up today.
He called me this afternoon.
And in writing, I want it in writing. I wanted to find out, well, the question that they had left us with was, would we accept the 2014 instead? And they think that there's going to be no trouble with getting transmissions for the 2014s, but that would push delivery back into late summer, early fall. So I called this morning and I talked to the salesman that we've been dealing with, and they will not give us a guarantee that the truck will come to us by a date certain.
What, the 2014 or the one that we ordered?
I
The
don't-
2014, that's all they can get now.
So what we ordered is not available in Boston.
Right,
No transmission.
no trans.
They didn't
As of-
manufacture enough.
As of July 1st, the new order comes out. By the 10th or the 12th of July, he should be able to give us a definite answer.
Is that what he said by the?
Yeah, this afternoon.
Wait, do we have a contract with them for the delivery of this? by a
Yes.
certain date?
Yeah, we,
So they're
yes.
basically saying they're breaching their contract to us? Is that right?
Well, we had asked, yes, for early July delivery.
Is that part
Of
of
a
it?
2013, yes.
Yes.
So and time is normally of the essence when you're talking about a delivery
Well,
contract.
that's why,
So
But
they-
even though it's a
Let me
breach.
finish. So if we take the 2014, what consideration are they offering to us for?
Same price.
Same price as what we're gonna get, so that's no consideration.
what do you mean?
Well, it would be, if you figure that the price of the 2014 would be some 2 to 5% higher, just by virtue of it being a year newer truck.
It's not a year newer truck, it's a new.
Model.
No, but the new model, but what I'm saying is new model year, if truck A, a 2013 cost 40,000, the 2014 the price tag would be some amount higher than that, just.
I don't know if that's true, I mean,
Well, I do know that's true, but,
Okay,
but anyways, your point, I understand the point you're saying is that worth our aggravation or time or,
I'm just saying, I'd look for more consideration than that, because we counted on a vehicle, we had a contract for a vehicle, they cannot deliver the vehicle, they're offering us a different vehicle, and they're being nice to us and saying, we're not gonna charge you more money. That to me is
Meanwhile,
not consideration.
Well, what about this bid that we're looking at right now? This was
that's why I
based on the
wanted to-
Let me
2013.
go on. My point therefore being, when someone has a contract with somebody, and material elements of a contract are time, quality, cost, delivery, and they can't do it, that's a cardinal change. We're damaged. If we wanted to go out and buy another truck,
We could do that.
we could do that at a higher price and say, the difference between what you offered us and what we had to pay to get it by July 1st is what you owe us. Now, I'm only hearing they're saying, we won't charge any more money when you get it later. I don't know why we should be so nice, speaking as a town that relied on their representation. So I'm going to be factoring that into whatever the discussion is here, because I don't see how the town is in the same position just because they're going to get it later, and you're telling me maybe it'd be more expensive. I don't really care if it's more expensive. We're still damaged.
So that was my concern. My concern was whether or not, I faxed up a request today, and I wanted it in writing, about when they thought they would know when the 2014s would be deliverable. And I didn't get that back. So I just don't know what to say. Here we are about to make a decision on a body to fit a truck, but there's a lot of uncertainty about the truck.
Right, I mean, I don't know how any of this that we've just talked about, how can we say that's valid if we're looking at a completely different model truck?
90% of this would be the same. The plow frame would be the only thing different.
Well, but that's different, so,
If we switch trucks
yeah.
to a Ford or something, that's the only other choice we have is a Ford. Chevy doesn't make a truck this big anymore. So we'd narrow right down to one. If they knew our circumstance, they could basically bid whatever they wanted.
We've already accepted that bid though, right?
Or my request is, if we could wait till the mid-July to see if we could get something in writing on this. If not, we put it out to bid and get one immediately from somebody else. We still have time to have it outfitted before snow flies.
I think if we did that, I think we need to, first of all, a couple things from my mind, okay? This is their problem.
I agree with you 100%. I told them
We're
that's
handling
why-
this evening as our problem. We should be passing it back to them saying, this is your problem, you need to fix this. If you cannot fix it for us the right way and put us in the same position we were in before, we will be forced to do something else, and then we will be coming back to you for a demand of whatever the additional cost is to us, which is the damages that are incurred to us, plus the administrative cost of having to go ahead and do this.
Yes.
If we don't get their attention, then the board should decide, I mean, take that time to decide, okay, are we going to proceed with this through legal channels? Are we going to just walk away from it? But once again, I'm really concerned here that we're trying to fix their problem, and they should be here tonight and talking to us and say,
Well,
we breached our contract. I'm sorry. What can I do to make it right?
Let me just say though, Carl, I mean, I can't really, I don't feel that we could really blame Foster Motors. This is Chrysler Corporation.
I understand that, and it's not a personal matter, but you know, if something goes wrong because...
And I told them I couldn't give them any answer
Because you bought
this is really a breach of
a
contract.
nickel candy at a candy store, and they didn't make the candy, but your kid gets sick, it's a candy store just
He
as
did-
liable as the
He
manufacturer.
did tell me today, he didn't say that they would do it even up, but I mean, you could request it. They did find a black one in the nearby area somewhere, if the color wasn't a big deal to us. They're
You know,
supposed to give us a red.
I guess I'm just a little concerned about I mean, I hear what you're saying, Carl, but I also think, I'm looking right now at this Viking, for instance, bid or quote. It's a quote. It's not, I don't know that it's a contract.
Right.
And it does state in this, now this is for the plow section of it, all quotations and agreements are contingent upon strikes, accidents, fires, availability of material, and all other causes beyond our control. So, I don't know that we have some sort of an ironclad something
We
with
don't-
these folks.
We don't have a purchase contract or...
I don't know what we have, I just type an agreement. I haven't seen it.
Back in May, before I think you left on vacation, we agreed to purchase, we awarded a bid to a vendor. And what they what we have was a cover letter, and we approved their specs, and they show the total. At the bottom, it says, "This is not an invoice. The prices and equipment shown on this price order confirmation are tentative and subject to change or correction without prior notice. No claims against the content listed or prices quoted will be accepted. Refer to the vehicle invoice for final vehicle content and pricing."
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I can tell you, as somebody who has to deal with these things, just because it's written down doesn't mean it's legal, and doesn't mean that those are the terms you necessarily agreed to. There's plenty of contracts that say a lot of things that are perfectly illegal and would not hold up anywhere.
No, but this
I'd be
one says
happy to
it's
take
not
a
a
look at whatever it is
contract.
we signed, if that's what we signed.
Well, you had a copy of it, but orders are accepted only when the vehicle is shipped by the factory. So when I hear that, orders are accepted only when the vehicle is
Agreement
shipped.
to buy it, they're under contract, right?
Well, I think that's a little dicey, frankly. You know,
We've never experienced this before.
Well, I couldn't believe it when he said he couldn't get a truck, it blew my mind, but,
Well,
I mean, the one
yeah, but
thing I
Why
wanted,
can't they locate one? You said they had another one except it was black, so what's the
it's
difference?
black, it's not, well, we ordered a red one, that's what I've gotta come to you people for, to see if the color mattered.
Long as everything else is the same, I don't see the difference myself.
Well, I think that it could, a black one might work for a small benefit to us. That's my feeling.
you mean black in a...
Yeah,
black-
consideration, yeah. That's actually the word I was looking for.
Black in a 2013 that we wanted, or black in a...
I think they could get it almost right away, is the way he was speaking, but.
How much was the
Like
delivery?
I said, I've got
As
it,
part of that bid, do you
that's part
know?
of the bid.
I know, was it broken out?
We could also ask them to paint it red.
Could do that, too.
Yeah, to go all inside the firewall, that'd be shabby.
The only other bid that we had was Goss Dodge. Now, that's also going to be the same transmission, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we only had 2 bids. Both were for the same truck.
Yeah, and I talked to the Ford guy a couple times, and he said he was gonna put one in, he never did, so.
And I-
If we wait until, how long does it take, if we wait until July 12th, or whatever it is, 12 weeks to get everything, the truck
Here.
here,
It
and then
takes
in
2
terms of the plow and all of that business, this stuff that we're looking at right now?
2 days, they say. Plowing the floor.
Okay, so we have to hope we don't, I mean, do we have our backup if we have nothing to salt the roads if we have an
Well,
October
we
storm?
have other trucks.
Oh, we got the 5 other trucks, I could use the pickup.
Yes.
To plow.
We can,
Yeah,
but
I mean, if we got a freak early storm.
the Truck and the excavator are gone, so.
the only
I'd
thing
go
I'm
with
running
Shaftsbury.
into, the difficulty for me is that the
We had one of those.
excavator is due to be delivered in July. And in order to finance the excavator, we were going to pay for these together. I am not going to have a financing package put together.
I don't think we could have a rebid by then, though.
That's right. So we're going to have to finance these separately.
What's wrong with the black truck?
but if we took
Yeah,
a black one, we could get a 2013.
Right.
yeah, and it would be here soon, or like.
I think you ask them if they'll give us a discount on the black truck. Tell them we may have to get it
If
painted.
that's all right with you,
Do you have an issue?
I can probably do that.
You know what? I mean, if it makes, in terms of the financing, if we can't put those two together, we're going to pay more money for financing. I don't think that's worth it
That's
for...
called damages.
Yeah.
And I'd remind them that if they can't come through with it, we have damages that are not just a matter of waiting a little bit longer. They're actual damages we can show on paper, and it's worth an effort to, regardless, I don't care what's written on that piece of paper, to make further inquiry. I would suggest as a board member that we make further inquiry to our council to see whether or not.
I mean, this is the state recommended dealer to go through. This is who the state recommends to go through, so. I mean, the state's behind them also, so that should be something in our behalf.
My feeling is and I think I'm starting to feel some consensus here, that I think a black truck would work, and it would work a lot better even if there was some consideration, financial consideration for our trouble. Does that,
Yeah.
Carl?
If you do anything else, you could wind up stretching it out, and we'll get the truck in December.
Or it costs us more,
Exactly.
So,
There's a
In
couple of
summary,
questions.
we
Besides,
want
that's how
a
the city
black
will show up better.
2013.
Take anyone, I guess, they
Yeah.
can get right away.
See what they can, I don't necessarily want a chartreuse
Talking about
one.
a black one, but if you can get any color, if that's all right with the board, all right with me.
Anything but
Not
pink.
pink.
We don't want pink.
I mean, I don't want to have to go through all this again.
No, I
You
agree
said
with you.
90%, but, this is based on a
Lucky's-
2013.
Micah there, I talked to him to make sure everything was apples to apples today, and I asked him if we had to go over our 30 days, he said, yeah, that wouldn't be an issue. He said, what are you thinking? I said, I don't really know. He said, no, we're good for a while. I didn't give him any indication what we're talking, but it sounds like Lucky's would stretch it out a little while.
I don't think that, I would rather us, or the bigger issue in my mind is actually the financing and what the effect that it could
Right.
have on financing. That's the bigger issue. Black truck or red truck,
Right.
I mean, we have an army truck out there, right? And it's fine.
That's for when water gets
You
hot.
know, hey.
yeah.
You want me to strap a paw on that?
That'd be entertaining.
That might wake Kenny up in the morning if I go around the block with that thing.
I'm awake. I'm awake.
Black stands out fine against white snow.
Yeah.
Margie, are you good?
Well, I just don't know how we've accepted a bid for 44,877. That's what we communicated with, so we're
But
going to
there-
have to go back with another written,
No, well, basically what we need to do is go back to them and say, because of the fact that you materially are breaching the contract for what we offered, we need you to come up with a solution. They've offered one already, at least verbally to us, that they could find one in another color for us. That conceivably would work for us. It's not what we asked for, so if they were willing to find one like that and offer us some discount for our trouble, that would be acceptable.
and if they don't,
Then I guess we have to discuss it.
Then we'll discuss it further. And, at that point, I mean, Carl is right on target, that we do have.
yeah, I just have never done this before.
I guess the
and
point is this.
You're very
Time-
comfortable.
Time is a cardinal element of any agreement.
Yes, it
okay?
is.
Color is not.
Yeah.
Okay? So unless there's a real good reason, unless we say color's vital to us, and I doubt that we did. So my thought is, if you put it to them is, do you want to breach your contract where we can clearly go against you? Or do you want to just get us a different color and give us a little consideration for the not getting what we ordered for you? Because that's not material.
Barry has a question.
Could you get them to paint it as a consideration for?
That would be extremely difficult.
The problem with that, Terry's right on target there, is that painting it to go to a totally different color means painting inside door frames, under the hood, everywhere, and that's,
We probably would lose out on that in about a year's time and start flaking and it would look,
It'd probably take a while to have it painted anyway.
yeah, it might take us that same amount of time to get it painted.
Why bother paint? We just put the
Right.
decal on.
Yeah.
Right,
No.
I'd rather see them like knock off the delivery charge or
Yes.
something like that.
More than that.
Yeah, or something along those lines.
More than that.
Yeah, absolutely. It can always fall back to that.
Act in good faith.
Extra spare tire or something.
Yeah, absolutely,
or not, honey.
Oh, but I mean, make a little package up.
How about
Yeah.
flour?
yeah. So I
All
think,
right, so we're not doing anything on this until we know where we are with that.
I think I probably would not behoove us to award the bids for the plow and body till we have this tied down, which,
Well, we can honestly say that as far as the specs are concerned, Lucky's is the lowest, correct?
Yeah, I would like to send a written letter back to Lucky's, saying, based on the way things look, you are the lowest bidder, but we need you to hold your price.
Right,
For 30
absolutely.
Did
days.
our
Right.
solicitation say they had to hold it for 30 days? And
Yeah.
then
Yes, it does say 30, but if we could get 90 out of them, it'd be awesome.
Well, I would suggest maybe we just hold the 30 and wait and see at the end of 30 days if they're willing to hold it even further.
Well, if we voted on that, are we subject to it then?
The whole-
If we voted on accepting it?
We haven't voted on anything
No, I
yet.
said if we did vote on it, are we subject to
If we voted,
They had to be
what are we voting on?
valid for 30 days
The
from the
bid for
date the
Lucky's.
bids were to be taken.
He's just acknowledging that it's the lowest bid, we're not voting on it.
We're not voting on anything tonight.
We're not
Yeah.
authorizing the award.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as they'll hold it for 30 days at our next board meeting.
Hold the bid, okay.
Yes.
The bid. I thought you
Yes.
meant hold the price I thought.
Yeah, hold their bid, yeah. And it says that they agreed to that by virtue
For
of,
30 days from the date of bid opening.
which is 30 days from last Thursday. So, okay, all right.
Yep,
So are we clear on where we need to go with this?
black it is,
Well, assuming they can get us one.
painted black.
He said this afternoon he found a black one somewhere, I don't know where, but I said I don't have the authority to make that decision.
Are you good, Margie? with-
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So me?
Well, if you want to stay here for a minute, we're,
That spreadsheet was all I wanted to see.
all right there.
Perfect.
we're actually going to talk about town garage and a couple of items related to that, so if you want to stay here for that for a couple minutes.
Okay.
All right. Our next item on the agenda is to talk about the new town's garage status. We have actually two potential action items on this tonight, coming from following our meeting, the meeting of the town garage committee last week. So I'll let Karen kind of start the discussion there, and then we'll talk about, they actually brought two potential action items to or ask us to bring them to the table tonight.
We had another good meeting last Wednesday. We actually had almost a full board there, select board joined. So it was a warned select board, joint select board, town garage committee. And Jim Secor was present, and I felt, and I think the rest of the committee felt, that it was very helpful to have him there, because there've been a lot of questions that have been generated over the last couple of months, and he was able to answer a lot of those questions. There were two items that the committee has asked to have brought back to the select board. One has to do, we have talked about this before as a board, but we haven't taken any formal action. Terry, I don't know if you've gotten any pricing, but it has to do with an initial clearing of the property. So basically taking trees down at the site. The sense is that if that site is open, it can give certainly any bidders a better idea of what they're looking at. It would provide an opportunity for townspeople to actually walk the site and visualize where this thing has been proposed. Now, Terry, I think you were going to try to, I know that there was one local logger who was available and able to do it for a reasonable price.
And he said he's still available and price still is okay.
Were you able to get in touch with, the committee had talked about you getting in touch with anyone else that
Tom
might be?
Pelsley is working right now up on the mountain with all his equipment. He didn't know the date he could get there. I thought probably it was something we're looking to do sooner than later. He was the only other one I tried to actually contact. I know he's got all the equipment to do the job. I can go out and get other, not as local people to look at it if you'd like.
Did you have a sense from Towsley in terms of pricing?
Now without looking at it.
So he couldn't even
really
look at it.
estimate the trees. I'm thinking there's
Yep.
gotta be over 100 trees there, but without really going in there, trying to get groups of 10 or whatever to count them out, I couldn't really even say that to him. But I pretty much see Tom every Saturday night at the racetrack, so I mean, I could talk to him anytime, but more about it. But he's actually up near you. He's got
I know, I know, for the
big
next
job up there. He said he'd be
5
there.
years.
Yeah, so he'd be there for years.
I know. So I don't envision him down at the landfill, frankly.
How big are those trees, Terry? 12 inch?
Oh, no. 24,
Yeah, they're big.
they're big,
24 inch pine?
yeah.
Yeah.
They're big.
What's your excavator weigh?
No one.
What does the weight of a town excavator weigh?
40,000. But the one that we were going to bring in, I guess I don't know the question you're asking.
Well,
We're not taking them out of there, we're not having anything to do with them. The guy that was gonna do it has all the equipment to lift them, move them, get them out of there.
well, what I'm getting at, I can take my excavator, either the one I've got now or the one I had before. And a pine tree like that, I can have that thing on the ground in less than 5 minutes. Why
I don't know what
can't,
your point is.
well, you walk up, the tree's sitting here like this, you make one pass here, you make one pass here, you reach up there 15 feet in the air, you take that tree down one push.
And then what do we do with it?
Then what would?
And then you cut it off the stump, and you put the tree over here, and you just put them in a pile.
Well,
Burn the tops.
are you suggesting that the town crew clear that lot?
Yes.
Well, the problem was
And-
everyone was concerned with us not maintaining the roads and spending
Right.
too much time there.
Right, I mean,
I think that
But, I
with
mean,
6 men and
but
2
you haven't heard the
machines,
price yet, if you wait the
Well-
odds, it's probably,
how long do you think it would take? You're suggesting our whole road crew
less than a week,
go up there?
less than a week.
yeah, but you
Guaranteed.
couldn't take our wheeled excavator on the side bank there. We'd have to have a tractor one. To go down over that bank?
I'm not exactly sure where it is down over there, Terry, but you know that rubber tire excavator I had.
Yeah.
I've had that places where people turn around and go that way, because they don't want to see me, he's gonna get killed.
I'm sure I am probably go places that I shouldn't be with them, but I wouldn't go over that bank with especially a brand new machine.
Well, it's all I'm saying is, pine trees, it takes nothing to take out a pine tree, even a 24-inch pine tree.
Right, but the deal here is he's gonna clear the whole lot for us, brush, trees,
But then you've got the stump still in the ground.
that's all we'll have left, we'll have an open site though.
Right, but then your stumps come
We
out.
can go up and work on, one guy could go up with a big excavator that we rent and stump the whole thing. Daly's has offered to take care of the stumps for us. We put them up at their site. We've got it all worked out where it's pretty economical for us to do this whole thing.
Well, I mean, all I'm saying is, when I get a job where I've got to clear it for a house or whatever it was, and I don't care what it is, if it's maple trees, pine trees, whatever, I say, you cut that tree down, cut them trees out, and it's gonna cost you double to clear this lot. Because when that tree's standing there, that tree's its own worst enemy.
I understand what you're saying, Kevin. I think you're gonna have so much of the stuff up there, it would be very hard to sort it, to clear it out, unless we did the stumps as we went. Cleared them out of our way and.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, a stump comes out 10 times harder after you've got that tree off
But
of it.
I have a price of a PC 250, I don't think it's gonna be hard to get them out.
Not with that, no, but,
No. And so a few days with one guy up there, we can stump it, one guy in a dump truck, and the other four can be working on the roads.
I don't know, I hate to see rented equipment coming in when you got your own machinery.
But that brand new piece of
I know,
equipment's gotta
but-
last 20 years.
Well, I understand that too, but you got outriggers on that, you got brakes on that, and the guy that's running it better know what he's doing, or he shouldn't be in the seat.
Well, the initial price that was offered by the local logger is actually just under $3,000. And that's cut and remove brush and all, as I understand it. Basically, we will leave our stumps for us, but basically, everything would be, all of the wood will be gone.
Right.
And actually done by someone who is in the business of cutting trees. I've cut enough trees in my life, it doesn't worry me so much, but again, it is outside of the scope of what our guys do on a regular basis, or should be doing, with big trees. While I understand your point, Ken, if I was doing it at my own equipment, my own lot, I would do the same thing. I'm not so sure that for that price tag, I'm not so convinced that that's the best solution.
Well, if we take just an average $16 an hour salary for our guys. It's going to be almost $4,000 just in salary.
Per week.
You're paying them anyway, Karen.
I know, but they're not doing, but Kenny, we got roads and ditching and brush cutting and, we'll have the town screaming down our backs.
Last year in the spring, I spent $24,000 in gravel in the spring. It rained so much this year, I can't spend any of it. We can't put it down. I mean, it's a total different year than last year. We've got work to do this year. We're ditching, as soon as this rain stops, we got to grade every road in town again. I mean,
Yeah, they are a
we've
mess.
got
They're a
roads
mess.
to do.
I don't dispute that, Terry. I think that you've got a big enough crew that you can spare one or two here and there to do that
Yeah.
ourselves.
In defense to the idea that Ken is bringing forth, we did, when Ron was here, look at about a 6-week period to clear that site. And he was going to allocate two men with a bulldozer and just to clear and grub, as I would call it. But that was a different approach, and we were going to be coming in from a different access point. And there were really only 2 very large pines that were going to have to be removed. So the idea has been discussed, whether or not to have the crew do it. My only concern, Terry, is how do we establish I talked about the limits of clearing. We could have Secor or somebody go down and maybe tie ribbons in conformance with the survey. And then my only other question would be, and this is where you need to be an engineer, where you want to make sure that contours aren't disrupted totally. I mean, I don't think they would be. Or if they are, somebody's going to have to resurvey.
Yeah, they have to go
They just
down
are
there
gonna
and
be-
do all of the...
Yeah, they're just,
They're cutting the trees
regrading
and, conceivably cutting the trees and hauling them away.
okay, now what about all the slash? The logs are one thing, but what about all the slash?
All they have to do is get a burning permit, go burn it up.
Okay.
Yeah, he said you make a big burn pile and push it all pile and burn it all away. And all we have to do is the stumps. If we could even just get a road down there this year, we could park some of the winter stuff or the summer stuff down there for the winter. Out of sight, out of mind. I mean, I'm not saying the graders, but still put them inside. But
So
So
anyways,
that was the recommendation of the committee, that site be cleared if it could be done for a reasonable cost.
And being clear, that is strictly just the tree removal.
Yes.
That's not cleared and leveled or anything else.
That's right.
It's just the tree.
Am I getting that right?
Yeah,
That was
you're right.
That was what the committee asked us to bring back to
Right.
the board, that if it was at a reasonable cost,
I'm still not really clear where that's supposed to be. I'd like to see that ripped off the
they could,
ribbons.
they don't really want them.
you'd like to see
I'm
what?
all for saving money, Ken, but I don't think that we can touch that price when there's other things we could be doing.
And
I've done a lot of it.
his equipment. the
Right,
other
their
person's.
equipment, yeah. I mean, you can put your plan was to put the road in,
Yes.
yep.
Yep.
And there's a lot of work that you guys are going to be doing down there.
That's why we had that rental
Right,
budget there for the
right.
machine to do all that.
Yep.
All right, so the second item that they brought to the table.
So the second item that they asked the board to consider, we spoke with Secor in terms of cost savings for the town garage building. It gets very difficult, frankly, when you're trying to figure out what do we have to have, what is recommended. All of these things, obviously, there's a difference in cost. So basically, what the board asked is to get a price on a building that was a stripped-down, bare-bones building. What would be the cost estimate? And then, what would be the cost estimate for various alternatives or add-ons? Just as an example, You know, the building siding can range from something that's called T111, which is, you know, not great stuff. I mean, it's not very durable, it's not long range, and it can go all the way up to whatever. I mean, you can have concrete sides, you can have hardy plank, you can have metal sides, but there's going to be a, you know, increase in the cost. Same thing with the roofing material. You can have a screw-down metal roof, which, you know, there are issues with leakage, and, or you can have a standing seam metal roof. You have to have metal when you have a metal building. You can't use shingles. So, so we said, so what's the cheapest you could possibly put up there? And he described it, and said, I can come up with that cost, and then we can come up with figures for add-ons.
Part of the thought process behind that is to, there seems to be some confusion, you know, in the community, people who maybe aren't involved, that, you know, maybe the building cost, you know, maybe is some fraction of the original. The main garage building in the original plan that went to the voters was just short of $1 million, just for that building. There seems to be some confusion that maybe that a building that would meet all the needs and meet all the requirements and everything could be built for some small fraction of that amount. I think what the board is, or the committee has come back, and as they've started reviewing the options, they're finding that more than likely that isn't really the case, is that we're not going to build a building comparable size with all the required elements, including, you know, heating, electrical, energy efficiency, et cetera, for you know, $250,000 or $300,000. It isn't realistic. And I think part of the idea behind this is if we go back and get a bare bones, it starts to actually then lay the framework for what is the real cost going to be. It starts putting realism into, or a documented basis to begin the discussion the next time around.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
It's mea culpa because I wasn't here for a while. What you just said is really very, very important. And when last I was at one of the meetings, the issue was talking about, you know, having regular columns in the paper.
Yep.
Did we have something recently in the paper about the fact that exactly what Craig said, it's not feasible, it's not realistic to assume anything could be built for $500,000 or less?
We have not. Barry's been terrific, has gotten, I think we've had two columns in the banner. What the focus of the committee has been is cost savings. Now, we are at a point where there are definite places where we're going to be able to save money.
I'm only talking about communication.
Well, in that...
Communication, my understanding after the failure of the vote was a clear acknowledgement by members of the board, members of the committee, members of the public, that there was not communication sufficient.
Yep.
I'm hearing that there is an acknowledgement now by those that are in the know that we can't do it for.
Well, I think
we don't know what we can.
Previously said $29.99, any color, any size.
Right.
And that to me, the most important thing is the communication.
Well, I think that if going through this exercise will actually give it will allow us to actually provide that.
Right.
That's a next part of the communication.
We'll be able to address some of those issues and make comparisons. For instance, you know, the bare bones will have a bare bones heating system that isn't the kind of high efficiency. It won't be the radiant floor heating that keeps the heat low. I mean, right now, we lose a ton of, oil going on. So it'll allow us to say, okay, so, this is this cost. If we went with radiant heat, it would be this much, but we're going to save this much in oil by going with the,
It starts to allow us to make those.
And that's what we can get out in columns and flyers and really educate. We're trying to educate ourselves so that we can go out to the community with the real specifics that people will say, well, why do you need to have whatever, radiant heating?
Ken, can I ask you, since you were very vocal about how inexpensively it could be built, are you in agreement based on what Karen said?
I think we're getting closer to where I think it'll pass. I think,
No, I mean, but that it's not really feasible to do something less than $300,000 or $400,000.
I think you gotta be more than $300,000 or $400,000. I think you can go quite a ways from where we were talking originally.
But we've cut, one of the things we're having, and so, just as an example, we've looked at the configuration of the building. We've turned it into a rectangular shape. We've cut 500 square feet off of it. We're looking at a uniform roof line. All of those can save costs. But what the committee asked, because we are talking money now, just like with the clearing of the property, they're coming to the board, they asked us to come to the board and request Secor, if it can be done again for a reasonable amount, because he seems like the logical person, he's carried this through, to get us that bare bones cost estimate and some alternatives. I think you all received this. I mean, I can certainly read this out for the public. And this, let's see, it would be a new building estimate based on the revised floor plan. The cost would be based on a pre-engineered metal building to meet the bare bones energy and building codes, and then give alternate extra costs for 1, a ventilation system energy recovery, 2, storage mezzanine above the mechanical and file storage, trench drain system, cost savings to go with gas-fired ceiling-mounted heating units versus the in-floor radiant, cost increase from a metal screw-down roof to standing seam, adding interior metal wall liner panels up to 7 feet 6 inches, AFFL, whatever that means, adding 12-inch concrete stem wall, and ask the board if they can think of any other items. So we did get a proposal from Jim Secor to do that at a cost not to exceed $1,000. And that would be tremendously helpful to the committee.
To kind of bring it back to all the items that have been discussed up to now, which there's been a lot of fruitful discussion, to bring it back and say, all right, this is based on the things that we've kind of agreed in concept that would help cost, how will it really help the cost?
Right.
Or it may at least develop a better estimate.
And then that will be publicly communicated
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
as widely as we can do it.
Yes.
And Carl, you were not here, but just to for your benefit and again for the community, we have taken a completely different tact on the salt shed. And looking at sort of one of, like you'd see, like the Wilcox building on, it has those fabric roofs and.
I remember that was being discussed just before.
Yeah, there's probably I don't know, maybe it was like a 30% savings over the conventional that we had originally looked at.
Just a shorter lifespan.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are coming into play here. If we go with a metal building, it may leave out, as Jim said, you could go with a contractor, a big contractor who puts up these metal buildings, and you're basically saying to our locals, well, you know what, this is really the cheapest way to go, so sorry, guys, we don't have any work for you in this. And it does get back to a conversation that the select board had previously, which was, do you pay more, a little bit more of a premium, to keep the money in the community? So those are going to be decisions that we'll have to make. So those are the 2 action items that we'd like to go back to the committee with, unless Barry or Ken can think of anything else that I've
They were also in attendance at that meeting.
Barry's a member and Ken also.
Right.
did I cover it all?
I don't like to say it, but I think with what this is gonna wind up costing, and you're gonna have it on a bond, you're gonna have to be bonded to do the job. I don't think you're gonna get much locals can get into it, whether you want them to or not.
Well, but you could have a general contractor bonded, but tell them you want it bid out
No, I
two
understand that,
different
Ken, but I
ways.
mean, for a local to be, most local contractors can't get bonded.
But subcontractors aren't going to
Right.
need, yeah, they wouldn't need
We have a
bonding.
couple local that are $1 million bonded companies.
I'd like
Cost
to,
$1 million, right?
That's a
And
good
it isn't
reason.
gonna cost $1 billion.
Right, and they're up to $1 million, so. if we come in under
you've got the million, you're not gonna get it again either.
Bonded.
Well, and this building itself is not, I mean, the original was $840,000 for the garage building itself. It was never $1 million. I mean, the total cost was for everything. That was site work, that was everything, and the salt shed, and
And everything else.
so,
940, isn't it?
no, the final was 834. Okay,
Okay.
so I guess I would ask if, again, we could, the board could consider a motion to have the lot cleared for a price that, I think we have a price that's from a local that's under a bid
Right.
amount, and it doesn't appear that we
Right.
have others that are,
We have, well, actually, we have a local vendor who's said that he would cut the trees down and take care of the brush and everything else and remove the logs for a cost of just short of, and I say $29.95, just under $3,000, which coincidentally is also below our purchasing policy does not require a bid purchase or a bid arrangement, competitive bid for things under $3,000. Items between $3,000 and $10,000, we have the option to do it, I believe is the answer, and anything above $10,000 requires it. So we have at our, based on the information we have an offer from a local contractor to take those out for a price that does not exceed $3,000. We have the authority as a board to make that decision if we so choose.
I'll make a motion that we award the vendor for the tree removal.
But we should probably name, if we're going to do that, we should probably,
Yes, and not,
yeah, it can't be it's not anonymous.
So who is it?
Ed Legacy Jr.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we have Ed Legacy Jr. Remove the trees at the landfill site and clean up the lot and clean up the brush and so forth, and also to authorize $1,000 to Jim Secor to give us a bare bones option on the town garage with as many options.
Why don't we do those as two separate items,
Okay.
Mitch? Thank you, you're on the right track, but
Okay.
let's do this as two separate items.
we have to hire Ed Legacy Jr. to remove trees.
For the tree removal at the landfill site for the town garage.
I think we ought to.
Price not to exceed $3,000.
To remove trees, I want it more specific than
yeah, I think
this.
yeah.
We are
as-
way too vague.
As designated, or
As
Site.
designated,
clear a designated,
remove
clear a
trees, burn
designated
brush.
site.
as designated by MSK Engineering, the clearing limits.
Roped off or whatever, tagged. For
remove
price not to
trees
exceed.
Slash, what else we,
Brush.
to get a site into good working order.
To remove trees,
So
brush.
remove the trees
Brush.
and burn brush
I'll burn the
Burn
brush.
and tops.
Yep, burn
Right,
brush.
Right,
Want to throw a completion date in there also? By so-and-so for a price not to exceed so-and-so.
By September 30th for a price not to exceed
As soon as
$3,000.
you okay it, he's got nothing right now, so he's gonna go right into it.
He may start tomorrow.
do we have to say how far down?
Well, I think we just gotta put ribbons on all the trees
No, well, that's-
inside.
No, but I mean,
No, the height
like, do you
of
have to say
the
like a foot up from the ground, or
How tall
what
do you
makes
want
it
the
easy
stumps?
for you guys to go
Yeah,
in there with
that's
the
right.
excavator?
No matter with this machine.
Well, I know, but should we say?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter at all.
To remove
With our
trees?
machine, we want to be about this high, but no, it really doesn't matter.
So remove, flush to ground.
Sure.
What's the value of that part?
Right now, he said nothing. He said he's gonna hold on to it for a couple months. He said he can't hardly give it away right now. But he's got time right now, so he still will do it.
And the date to complete by September
30th?
30th?
Sure.
For a price not to exceed $3,000.
$29.95.
$29.95.
Any seconds?
Is there anything else that,
But wait,
Second it.
Yeah.
I'll second.
You want it black, right?
all right, any further discussion? We have a motion and a second, as described, for Ed Legacy Jr. to remove the trees, remove the brush. I'm paraphrasing here now. Yeah, for a price not to exceed $2,995 and to be completed not later than September 30th, 2013. Is there any discussion?
I think we ought to be doing it ourselves.
I want to make sure we have evidence of insurance. For the town's insurance requirements.
That's a good plan. Anything else? Ken's point taken. There being no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Me?
One dissent? Any abstentions? The motion carries 4-1. And please do note the members voting for and against when we don't have a unanimous vote. That is a practice of the town. You probably assumed that already, Sean, but... All right, the second item then is the garage building redesign. As Karen noted, we have an offer from MSK Engineering to do the redesign in the fashion that Karen described.
And cost estimate.
And a cost estimate that is, the cost estimate was to be time and materials not to exceed $1,000. Do I have a motion to approve that, to accept that offer from MSK Engineering?
so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor of approving that agreement signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That,
Ken, you're
You
voting
don't,
against?
you don't want the, oh.
Well, I just think that the way, he's already got, what, $21,000 out of us?
No,
So we should work for nothing.
no, he got,
Well,
he gave us what we asked for, Ken.
yes, I know, but as I understand that, we don't have a plan for a septic system.
That he wasn't, Ken, he was only to bring us to a 20% completion.
right. He completed the terms of that contract with us.
Okay, well, no, what about your, that drain in the floor? And the system that went with that?
That's going to be part of the trench drain
That's
system.
all.
That's just a
It's not
cost
part of it.
estimate. He's getting us a cost estimate for those.
Okay, but that, maybe I don't know. I get the feeling that when he did that drain system, I think that's more, that's all designed, right?
No.
That trench drain?
What he's doing now is gonna get everything that's mandatory from the state. Everything else is bare bones, and then we'll add each individual thing we want as a wish list to see how much that comes up to.
But this is not final design stuff, Ken.
No, this is
We
just
never,
a starting point.
that total contract to bring us to construction was
Okay.
$87,000.
Yeah, but-
We didn't want to pay anything more than we had to
Right.
until we got the pulse of the town. And that was the way we bid it out to all of the contractors, all of the engineers. Initially, we said, 20% is just rough
Of 20
schematics.
20%
It's
of-
not a full design. They didn't bring their mechanical people in and design the full system, because we didn't know if the town was gonna go for it. So why
All
pay
right,
the
well,
money for
let
it?
me ask you, I guess would be my next question then. If we say we want that trench design for the drain.
Yeah.
Which I think they need that, but say you're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Okay, then you're gonna put something out in the bid, and he's got that design, or pretty well figured out. How does another guy bid on the same thing to get it and be fair?
No, he's not going, what he's going to do at this point
Yeah,
is give us the cost for doing, the projected cost for doing a trench drain, whether it's the trench drain, the full length, or, at our meeting the other night, we talked about, does it have to be on every single, by every
Yeah,
bay?
I think he's ahead of you by one step. If I'm not mistaken.
well, maybe I am,
I believe once he gets this done, we get a vote approval, we have to
Yeah.
hire an engineer to do the whole setup, to put it out to bid.
Oh, yeah, this is
And then
not,
they
this
go
is
bid
not,
on the final engineering design.
oh, because, I don't want, I want if we're gonna put this out to bed,
Yeah, this is nothing
I
to do
mean,
with
This
it.
I don't want him to have anything that this guy over here doesn't have.
no.
Okay, I guess that's where my confusion is.
Yeah, that would be a next step.
Okay, well, in that case, then I'll vote for it.
Absolutely not, yeah.
Okay.
This is rough, just,
20% of plan.
Okay, I'm going to recall the question just in case, because we actually had additional discussion after we called the vote, so we'll do it one more time. So the motion on the table, and again, I'm just doing this so we're clear. The motion on the table is to accept the offer from MSK Engineering to, all right, what did we call it? Do a garage building redesign
and cost estimate.
and cost estimate
estimate.
only, at a cost of time and material not to exceed $1,000. And we had a motion by, Carl had the initial
Carl.
motion,
I seconded.
Karen seconded it. So now, is there any further discussion?
Okay.
We're good? Okay, and again, I just want to make sure, because that we're all on the same page.
Okay, I was, well,
No, I just wanted to clarify, because
Yeah,
I
no,
had a
that's all
feeling
right.
you weren't,
Right.
didn't.
It was a good discussion, it came out right. All right, there being no further discussion, all those in favor of approving this agreement signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, all of you, for that discussion. All right, Karen, anything further then related to the garage that I think we covered everything that was the substance of that meeting?
Yep, once again, just to remind folks, we meet on the second and fourth Wednesday of each month. There may be weeks, although, we try to get it into the banner at least several days ahead of time. They didn't get it in the paper for Wednesdays, but we may be having additional meetings to that if it turns out that we have a vendor that can come in and speak with us, or, and keep your eyes out for columns,
Thursday morning?
because
Yes.
we'll have another column coming out soon.
So when is
As
the
we
next
go
meeting,
forward.
second and fourth Wednesday?
The next meeting would be the 26th?
Next Wednesday, a week from...
Next
yeah,
Wednesday,
Okay,
next
week from this
Wednesday.
Correct. All right, thank you. That's
Okay.
it, Terry.
Have a good night.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Terry.
At what time, Karen?
6:30. Yeah. Sorry, I just, too many meetings.
Okay, let's move right along now. Good conversation so far and good discussion. Hopefully we have some stuff that'll be quick and easy to move along through. The next item up is the parcel mapping agreement contract. At their last meeting, Carl, just to bring you up to speed, the engineer, or we actually met with, refresh my memory.
Franco Rossi from Cartographic Associates out of Littleton, New Hampshire.
He'd give a fine presentation, show the benefits of that. The board voted, I believe unanimously, to contract with that organization. Tonight, we're just executing the contract.
Yeah, I saw the proposal.
Okay. Any further questions on that? I guess then, I don't think this takes any further action other than we just need to sign it, because we've already agreed already agreed to sign.
Well, I think we need a motion
Yeah, I think
to
we should
accept
probably have a
the,
formal-
Formal proposal? All right.
yes,
Yeah,
and to
agreement.
summarize for the motion, the actual terms, financial terms of the agreement. Because there were, something to the effect that we're looking at a it's a 3-year project that we're undertaking. And we could say, per the terms and agreement, terms as listed in the proposal dated blah, blah, blah. But we have year 1 costs, we have year 2 costs, and year 2. Year 1, year 2, year 2.
No, it's a typography.
It's supposed to be year 3. And our appraiser has reviewed this, the listers. Larry, did you folks have any comments about anything in this that you wanted to change or amend?
It was just the one question that Jim Boyle brought
Jim
up
had.
about time to review any changes that did occur. Jim thought that we should go to a 90-day period, not a 30-day period.
No, I did, when Franco called this afternoon, I said that that was on our mind, and he suggested that they would be very accommodating. They're not gonna, we're gonna be as ready as we are when we're ready. He suggested we don't even need to amend any language with a 90-day.
What paragraph was that? Do you remember?
That's on page 7, and it's item 5.
Page 7, item 5.
And it's the 3rd bullet down on the list.
That comes up, the town has 30 days from the date when you examine the site
Well,
and to request changes.
yeah, why can't we just approve this as amended? I would certainly
If he's agreeable to it,
listen to what Larry's requesting, and if he's agreeable, then he doesn't care if we scratch out the 30 and put 90 with an initial it. Because I think that's reasonable.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
And, because this is a 3-year contract, it's got a guarantee for 1 year. Shouldn't it be, if we find something, they should fix it through the process on the
Where was that?
Where are you seeing that?
guarantee on page 11. I guess, okay, never mind, that makes sense, I guess, because if they publish a map.
From the
An
date of
updated-
delivery,
an updated
yeah,
map of some
yeah,
sort. Right.
yeah,
Never mind.
yeah. So, so you need a motion approving the contract,
3-year contract.
a 3-year contract with each year's total cost of $5,900 per year, for a total cost of $17,700 over the 3-year term with CAI Technologies.
Well spoken.
And as amended.
Do I have a second for that motion?
Second.
Is there any further discussion?
Anything else?
I apologize, I only saw this recently, since I was out of town. Is there the clause, does anybody recall the clause for changes to the contract? Should the parties wish to make changes to the contract?
Are you suggesting it's in there and you're looking for it, or wondering if
Presuming it's
there's...
got to be in here somewhere, and I can go through all the pages if somebody, and if it better be in there. I'm not finding it. The parties wish to make changes, it has to be in writing, blah, 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 blah.
I'm not finding that, actually.
The last page, Mapping and GIS Development Services, is a one-page summary agreement. It says, CAI agrees that this contract shall not be assigned, transferred, conveyed, or otherwise disposed of without the previous express written consent of the town, and neither shall CAI's right, title, interest, or power to execute such contract be assigned, transferred, conveyed, or otherwise disposed without written consent of the town.
Now, that's something
But that's a
completely
little different.
That's completely different.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing a changes clause. It should be a change. Every contract should have a changes clause. Maybe.
But what would we, I mean, like, what would we change?
Well,
It's not like what would we change, it said, you know, should the parties, any change to this contract must be made in writing between the parties, mailed to so-and-so.
Yeah, it's simple contract language, is it?
It's pretty basic stuff. It's not.
And it's relatively generic. It just, what it does is that it lays the groundwork. Should there be material changes to the contract needed, it explains how they need to be done.
Also tells you who has authority to make changes to a contract, you know? Can they talk to Margie, can Margie make a change? Does the board have to make a change? If we wish to extend the contract, you know, who agrees to it?
Can you?
You want to
Carl?
draft something?
Wouldn't be hard to add
I
that.
don't know,
You can-
that'd be easy too. I just would not dictate it this evening.
No.
I can
No.
Just,
dictate
but very
tomorrow.
brief, and then we can, are we not approve, or we're going to approve regardless? We'll just say
Whatever.
with that language?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Can we sign-
com-
We can't
I'm
sign
com-
it until we put language in.
right.
It's just $15,000 is $15,000. It's good
Good business
thing
sense.
to do. It's like your due diligence when you're doing
I
something.
think it should be right under witnesses, add item 5.
I mean,
Yeah.
knowing me, I'd
Is he
probably change a
looking-
whole lot more, but I'll keep it to one.
Is he looking for signatures
Can't
for
we keep it
everybody or
simple?
just Craig?
That is.
Well, I think we should.
I know.
Okay, okay.
Well, why don't we do this, then, with that suggestion in mind, I think that it would probably behoove us to rescind the motion and actually table this until our next meeting, until we can update it and do it correctly. I think that we can let Franco know that conceptually, we're in agreement, but we want to amend the contract language slightly, just to bring it in line with.
I'm surprised he
appropriately.
doesn't have language that he's stuck in here. I mean, this isn't the first one he's written, I'm presuming.
Yeah.
I have one, something else that should maybe be added, is that once we determine all the data that's useful to the town, do we want to have the ability to block some information from the public domain?
I think that's already included in the language.
Right, doesn't that sort of happen when he's putting this all together? I mean, we tell him what we want.
We own it.
Well,
It says in here that we own it, so therefore he
Right.
can't
And
use it.
when he but when he sets it up in a way that, you know, so that public can access this section and this, you know, and then if we want to make changes
And we, the
later.
town, determines what's going to be accessible
But I
before it
don't
goes
think-
live.
I don't think we
thought that was a
decide that
Financial
now.
option, though. I thought that was an option if you wanted to have certain block, once you get to the website, if we say, okay, it's all public domain.
No, there's,
If the option to block some fields were to cost an extra amount.
there was,
Okay, let's ask, that's a question to
Yeah,
clarify.
yeah.
let's
I mean, I
correct the verif-
remembered there was, whatever we wanted to put on there and allow access to, there wasn't, I mean, that was part of the whole package initially. If in the middle of the year or before the maintenance, the annual maintenance, we wanted to add something else or change something, then there was a cost. That was what I remembered.
There could-
Right, right.
250 per event.
250 per
Yes.
event.
But then,
If it didn't fall off
if we wait until the next, you know, the next annual maintenance, then we can put in whatever we want for nothing, as part of the, right.
By the way, may I go back for a moment if I'm going to write this paragraph? Who do we want to say has the right to make changes to this? The select board, the town manager?
The listers, yeah, who do we want to?
Well, it could be the select board at the recommendation of the listers, or,
Yeah, I think that's, because, I mean, and that's the good check and balance, is that they know, they and Jim are the ones that are the professionals, so to speak, so if there's
So are
a,
they like the project manager for this contract?
Yeah.
yeah.
So is it the listers
Board of
that are going to have the
Listers.
authority? We're giving them the authority to make changes and potentially incur costs for the town?
I
on this
wouldn't, I
project?
wouldn't. I would say the select board at the recommendation of the listers.
Well, we don't need to say how the select board acts for his purposes. That's how we'll act. But, so the select board is the one that's going to make the changes.
Yeah, I think if it has to do with money, we
yeah,
have to be the one
that's the way it
to
has
do
to
it.
be.
I
Yeah,
just want to make sure.
yep.
Okay, good, thanks.
All right, so I should probably have you officially rescind.
I
your
will withdraw my motion. And I'll make it again the next time.
All right, any further
Second
discussion on that?
Second withdrawn?
Was there a second that needs to be
I
withdrawn?
withdraw this.
Motion and then second withdrawn.
Right. All right. Next item up tonight,
Came back.
Yes, yes.
tonight we'll do our first reading of the amendments to the parking ordinance.
Craig, can I, on that, it's 8:30, could have been later, if we'd have been dragging things out more. But this is something that residents might want to be involved in. I mean, anytime. So what I'm thinking, when we have something like this, is there a chance we can bring it up one of the first parts of the meeting?
What,
And any parking ordinance or anything like that
Right.
that is going to affect citizens?
okay.
That rather than make them sit around this long, you know,
Yeah.
keep it down on the front of the,
Yeah.
and I'd make that a motion if anybody wants to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ken, the other thing that, I know probably.
Thanks, Larry.
In your past, you adopted ordinances, but were you ever on the board? I can't remember. Anyway.
No.
What will happen is that once the board reads this aloud and has 3 separate meetings in which that this is discussed, it will decide whether or not to adopt this ordinance.
Yeah.
Then we have a statutory process that continues, that outlines exactly how we have to notify the public.
Yeah.
This is reverse of, let's say, adopting a zoning bylaw. It's an odd creature, but when you adopt an ordinance, the public notification comes afterwards, and within that time, there's also the right of any constituent to come in and ask for
Yeah, I mean,
that it
like,
be
all
rescinded.
I'm saying is, you know, anything that's going to affect
Yeah,
parking.
so I agree that.
Not just this, but I mean,
Yeah, I totally agree that we try to get as much,
you know, you want to get as much input from the people as you can.
right.
Right. And by making them wait, we don't do that, yeah.
Well, they tend not to, I would think.
Well, yeah, we try not to do that, so.
Okay.
We try to have them
So I
involved.
don't know if that needs to be a motion, or would Margie just take care of it?
Well, take care of what?
No, in subsequent meetings when we do this, because there's 2 more of these that we have to do before we get to the
Right,
next step
okay,
that Margie
yeah.
describes. So in future meetings, we'll try to move it up into the agenda a little closer to the top of the paper.
Yeah.
And the other thing, just for Ken's benefit, you know, if there are things that are on the agenda, and, you know, like if we'd have had a ton of people out here for the garage,
Yeah.
and we weren't on camera or whatever, we could have asked for a vote. Any one of us could say, I'd like, Mr. Chair, could we move item number such and such up to the early part of the meeting?
Yeah, that's
And
also something.
just take it out of order.
As a matter of practice, as long as the
Yeah.
board, there's a majority of the board
Right.
agrees, we can make adjustments to that order
Yeah, okay.
as necessary.
Right.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, thank you for your input.
right.
We will keep that in mind
Well,
as for
if you
future.
don't need the motion, I will draw the thing or whatever,
No.
but it just,
No, that's more of a procedural thing that
okay.
we'll handle.
All right.
All right, so Margie, will you do us the service of?
Can I do just a very brief?
Yes, you may.
What's interesting is when you find what's really parked on your hard drive, sometimes you end up with 2 versions of an ordinance. So,
And some of it you didn't put there.
well, right. So what I've done is taken the ordinance that we adopted with the changes known as the winter parking ban. So we have that ordinance with that language. And then there was another draft of a parking ordinance that under number 6, no parking areas. I think I sent it along just out of curiosity, but I'm sure people did not want to flip through it. But it listed a number of, in fact, any street that was paved was listed as a no parking area, both sides. Buck Hill, Church, Cleveland, Colvin, Meadow, Holiday, Sycamore Lane, Ledgely, Westview, but this was a draft from 2010.
Oh, okay.
And I think that after some discussion, I believe the board might have tossed those out. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Can I also ask a question about it? Because when I was reading it, maybe I missed it, but in terms of penalties, it talks about the $35 full penalty and the $25 waiver penalty. And it basically says if you just pay it, you get the waiver penalty. It doesn't even refer to when you pay a full penalty.
Yeah, I don't know. That was language, that was all I had from the ordinance that was actually adopted with the parking ban. So I think we ought to clarify that, Carl. I think you're right. I think we got to pay attention to that
I
section
couldn't
as well.
find anything that talked about when you pay $35, and if there's no discussion of it, why is it there?
Yeah,
Well, it says, down below, owners who do not contest the citation for violation
That's right.
may pay the waiver penalty
Right.
in full satisfaction. So so if you want to contest it and take it to court, I guess you'd pay the $35.
It doesn't say
If-
that.
That's his point, it just doesn't say that.
Okay.
Here was what was being proposed in 2010 under section 7. It listed the penalties for violations of this ordinance shall be as follows. There were first, second, and third offenses.
That's,
And they were full penalties increased from 15 to 25 to 50 for the third offense. The waiver penalty increased by $5. So for the first offense, the waiver penalty was $10. The second offense was $15. The third offense, the waiver penalty was $25. So it was a graduated
I'm with
scale.
Ken in this one. Anything, keep it simple. You know?
yes.
So,
Thank you.
replace that. It looks like the approach taken by the Judicial Bureau is you have a full penalty and then a waiver penalty. So are we missing something from paragraph B then?
I didn't see anything other than paragraph 7A that talks about $35 full penalty. I did see what Karen saw about, if you just pay it right now, we'll only charge you $25, but it doesn't say, otherwise you should be paying $35.
It might be just as simple as adding a sentence that if
Add a
you,
sentence, yeah.
that says that if you,
choose to contest it, you...
or if you wait more than 15 days, then it's $35.
Anything, I just...
Yeah.
I'm happy if you get rid of 35. Or just make it one penalty. I don't...
Wait a minute, so where do we need a sentence?
On number 8, I think that you could put that as in there.
If the penalty is not paid by the time,
Yeah.
within 15 days.
If penalty is not paid, all must be paid within 15 working days of all fines, but what are they? This ordinance may be enforced by, I don't know if this part is scrubbed as well as, we should have,
Item number 8 needs to be just reworked slightly.
maybe, is this worth Rob Wilmington taking?
No.
No, okay.
Well, I think I'll tell you, I think it is worth getting a definition of it, as something that's very clear, because what I'm going to bring up in other business has to do with dog control stuff. And we have a lot of language that has to do with full penalty and waiver penalty. So, I think, Carl's a lawyer, and he's looking at this saying this isn't clear, and I think we do have to have it clear.
Okay,
So-
yeah,
And I don't care
definitely.
what we do with it, as long as we just identify a little bit more.
But it,
Or remove it or
$25 if paid-
identify more.
$25 if paid within 15 days, or
Yeah, I mean, like
$35?
what you said, Karen, wherever that paragraph is, it says, you pay the waiver if you want to pay it right now. Otherwise, if you choose to appeal, it's $35.
Yeah, appeal or delay beyond 15 days, it's $35.
Yeah, that would be good too. Just told when it's supposed to be paid.
So what needs to happen is to make sure that this language is consistent with the Judicial Bureau enforcement and ticketing process. Okay. Well, so that's for that, sections 7 and 8 I flagged. What about section 6, back up on the parking areas? A, within 20 feet of any hydrant or dry hydrant was already in there, in section 6, and then B, we're considering adding along Buck Hill Road. Now, that's the entire length of the road.
I thought that was the north side.
From here only to just past the fire station.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, Mitch, you shouldn't have anybody parking on that road. And that's why it was initially that
Okay.
in the other ordinance. You shouldn't be parking anywhere on that road.
Yeah, there's
no, there really is
room for parking
there's no
along
good
Buck Hill Road.
place.
And likewise
Okay.
for Church Street.
I just remember we talked about the
Yeah,
north
that's
side
what,
last week.
yeah. And likewise Church Street.
Yep.
And then we are,
Isn't there parking in front of the church down there? On the right-hand
Yeah,
side
they
coming
do,
up the
they
hill?
do park in front of the church. Yeah.
Couldn't you make the same argument for 67A down by there? Because that's a fast street and narrow street.
Jeez, I don't think anybody parks along 67A, do they?
They're not live.
so far, and that's a good
That's
sign.
tough down there.
Oh, that's a state highway.
That's a state highway.
I'm just
State
saying,
highway.
it seems like
Right.
a summer street.
Yeah, that's a state highway, so we don't have any option to play there, even if we chose to.
Well, Church Street is that's a good observation, that maybe you want Church Street out of there. And we just leave Dunham
Well,
Avenue.
yeah, but they made that, when they did those sidewalks, did they make that right in front of the church?
There's actually
There's
signs there.
there's a bump
Yeah.
out sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a,
All
right, right.
So we're taking out Church Street.
Yeah,
That's inconsistent. Okay, so we would just have a 1 and a 2.
Now,
And
would
now-
you call Dunham Ave
Not
a
South
South Shaftsbury
Shaftsbury.
Village Street?
No, you take out the south.
South,
I would just say along the
Shaftsbury.
following Shaftsbury streets.
yes. Town. Falling streets. This is parking, this is for the town of Shaftsbury, so you just need a lot of the following streets. You don't even need Shaftsbury in there.
Oh, that's true.
Yes, this is true. Okay, so would you reread section B as you've amended it,
Okay,
Margie?
B, it will be unlawful to park a motor vehicle, A, within 20 feet of a hydrant or dry hydrant, B, along the following streets. 1, Buck Hill Road, 2, Dunham Avenue, south side.
Karen? any thoughts?
Yeah, I guess I'm just, I don't think anybody would do it, but I just wonder if we should say north side of Church Street.
That's already posted, I think.
Well, if it's posted, then we should have it in the ordinance.
I'm almost positive, I was down there the other day, that you got signs right out there on the
Say
north
no,
side of that
no,
street.
okay, then we do, we need
I'll
to
check it next time I'm
double check.
going
But
through
even
the
if we
avenue, but I'm
don't-
almost positive, the north side of that.
If it is posted, we need it in there. If
We
it's
need it
not
in the
posted,
ordinance.
I don't think people should be parking on the north side.
Yeah, no, I bet $50 right now that's posted.
Then we should put it in here.
Okay.
Yeah, if it wasn't posted, we probably should put it in there.
That's what I mean, yeah, I agree.
Okay.
So I have 1, 2, and 3. We've reinserted Church Street, north side.
Dunham Avenue, south side. And any part of Buck Hill Road. Okay. All right, so that is the first reading for that. That'll come up on our next agenda and the one following. And then after that, then we'll go through the process of warning and the next steps beyond. I'm going to make a suggestion, given the hour and the fact that we do have at least one item under other business, going to take some discussion, that we table item number 10 this evening and move it to the next meeting. Is there any Do I have consensus of the board to do that? Make that change?
Agree.
Yep.
Agree. Thank you.
Just note that our next meeting is July 1, Monday night, of the July 4th week.
I'll be here.
You too.
All right, next item up then is our town administrator's report.
I have, I guess I have to bring that up under other business briefly. I guess my real announcement for my report is that we are heading to Montpelier, or at least Tim Scoggins, Larry might be going. We've got an appearance before the V-Trans Traffic Committee to argue for a reduced speed limit on Route 7A in the village, in addition to some other signage enhancements for our crossing. So that's coming up on Friday. And what I'm going to need the board to do is, at some point here,
Is that a formal meeting? In other words, are they?
anybody can go,
Oh,
Carl.
no.
Yeah, it's a formal meeting.
The committee where, it's going to be
Yes.
recorded, et cetera.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Well, I mean, they.
But they meet 4 times a year.
It is an important meeting for anybody that can attend or support. That is,
Right.
I'm not going to be able to, I think it would be really helpful if we could have a select board member at that meeting. Especially because we're going to throw in another grant proposal to finish this
When is that, Margie?
Friday.
This coming Friday?
This coming Friday.
What time?
It's 1 PM, Friday, June 21st.
That's in Montpelier, Margie?
Excuse me?
Montpelier?
Yes.
I'll get back to you tomorrow. I think my granddaughter graduates Friday.
Yeah.
Not sure. If I miss that, I'm dead.
yeah, you're in trouble.
No excuse for that one.
Ooh, no.
Speaking to the committee. Who's the spokesperson?
Well, we have, we sent a formal request, we the board. And so we sent off that letter. It says, if anybody wants to appear on behalf of the town, to testify, to present testimony on behalf of the town.
So is anybody going
So-
to be speaking?
Well, I met
Tim Scoggins would like to.
Tim will be speaking.
Tim, and he has some diagrams and whatnot, and Larry.
He did have some information in a presentation that he forwarded to us last week. Did you get a chance to see that, Carl? It was a simple
I
PowerPoint.
saw some stuff from Tim.
Yeah.
I thought it was before last week.
Well,
He had some, I'll make sure you see it.
yeah.
I don't remember who he actually shared it with.
When I come by with
frankly.
with a paragraph for the changes clause.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. I just continue business as usual. Continue.
Margie did fortunately.
Closing out the year.
She did not end up sitting on
She
for
lucked
jury
out.
duty last
Jury
week,
duty.
Lucked out.
although she does have to go back and try again next month.
All she's got to say is hang
Don't
them.
try too hard. Don't try too hard.
Just to let you know,
Would that get her off, Carol?
Yeah.
the Twitchell Hill paving issue was still on my radar. And whether or not we had drainage issues, how we're going to address the ditch issues. And that's to be
Still be
dealt with.
determined, yes.
Yeah. And then the only other action item the board needs to find room for is, we did get a grant agreement on the sidewalk project finally.
Okay.
That we do need to sign. And that's all.
Okay, that's it for that section?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, other business. Well, I'm going to start at this end tonight because we were just talking about this. So, Margie, first item is?
Would the board authorize you to accept the sidewalk grant agreement as noted? And we had public hearings held earlier this year. And this means I can start asking for money to be reimbursed for the expenses we've incurred.
Do we have a motion to approve the Chair signing on behalf of the board the agreement.
And this is the typical grant
It's a
agreement.
pretty
The third of
pro
the
forma.
same grant
Right.
that we've had.
So moved.
Is there any discussion?
Craig, I have a question. I've heard, is that the one that involves the garage over here in the corner? Is there something?
Yes, it's the piece
Yes.
that goes around, basically around the corner. Yes.
Okay, what is the deal on that? Because I've heard so many stories that they want to put sidewalk in there, they won't be able to get trucks in and out.
No. Trevor's been very involved in this, Ken. There is an opening that will be a 50-foot opening, but with the cutouts, we'll give him 60 feet to get tractor trailers in there. And then there'll be a 40-foot opening on Church Street. Trevor has walked through this whole thing multiple times with our engineer. He's very much on board with this.
Okay, that was
Yeah.
my only question.
Yeah,
Karen,
no,
because
we've been
when-
very
When
intent.
Thompson was over there, they was
That's the reason that it never touched Thompson's, because when we put the first grant in, however many years ago that was, he was not, and admittedly, he sold those cars, that was his business. So I said, you know what, we're not even going to deal with the corner now, because he just...
All right, well, that was my only concern. I just
it's
can't
all
stand
good.
Big Brother coming down there, you're going to have a driver with 10 feet wide on each side.
No, very...
Okay.
All parties are in agreement on this.
Yep. The state wants it as badly as we do, so...
Okay, well,
They're
as long as everybody's happy,
very
I'm happy.
accommodating, yeah.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor of approving this agreement signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion.
Made the motion in second?
I made the motion,
Okay.
And Carl second.
Carl seconded.
All right, so,
Very quickly here.
yeah.
We don't.
So signature, grantee, okay, let me make sure we do this right. I know signature is easy.
Sign over there, signature, the guarantee would be the town of Shaftsbury.
Okay, anything else, other business, Margie? Karen?
Two things. Ken and I, along with our new constable, Paul McGann, went up to Montpelier on Friday?
Thursday.
The VLCT has just put out a new draft ordinance. It's, I think, the first time in 10 years that they've done a redraft of the dog control ordinances. There were a ton of people. I think it was the most, the highest attended meeting I've ever been to up there for these things, for these workshops. Lots of interest, clearly, going back to Carol's concerns earlier in the evening, this is an issue that every town, it seems, in the state is dealing with. Some towns are actually banning breed-specific dogs. There's all kinds of problems towns have been having. So I think we got a lot of really good information, and it's a great starting point for us to, I think, sit with our animal control officer and Margie and really begin to look at our own ordinance and where, in comparing it, frankly, to some of the stuff that was in this, I think, we have some really good stuff in ours, but there are clearly places where we can tighten things up and make it a lot clearer. The whole fine, that's why I came up with, the point on the waiver and the actual fine, there's a lot of that in there. But having the new constable, certainly can help us in terms of enforcement as a backup to the animal control officer. And that's a whole nother discussion, I think, which is the constables and their roles. That was going to be one of my things for our goals. But I was very glad to see him there. And he is a member of the Manchester Police Department, which is interesting because it's the police department in Manchester that is handling all of the dog control issues, which is what Bennington just recently went to. So he's very familiar with the process.
Good.
So that was interesting, and Ken may have some more to add to that. But and the other piece that I know that I had mentioned it previously to the board, that Margie and I have decided we'll put in another grant through the Bike and Ped program to help supplement the corner here, and it may actually help with some of the signage and things that the school is requesting to kind of beef up this corner in terms of safety. So I went to there's a mandatory workshop on that. Week before last, I guess it was. And that will be due on the 26th. So at some point soon.
Of June or July?
July 26th. Sorry, I think I'm going out of town on the 26th of June. July 26th, and we'll need a letter of support from the board.
Yeah, letters of support. And what about a hearing? We're going to have to...
I haven't had a chance since last week to go through all of that. But there'll be a lot more coming. As far as that's concerned. And that's all I have.
Okay.
That's it. It's enough.
Mitch?
Nothing for me.
I have a petition here. It says, State of Vermont, Bennington County. With the undersigned voters of the town of Shaftsbury hereby petition the select board to appoint Ken Harrington as co-liaison to the highway department. Signed by 68 residents.
Okay. My understanding, and this is something, I think we'll bring this up as a topic of discussion at the next meeting, just because it's a new topic. I think that we need to review, I think that this is personally, I have no vested interest in being the liaison to the road crew, but I think that this is something that the board, this is a board decision. I don't think that it's the five of us make the decision. I don't know that it's that's even subject to any election or anything like that, but we need to look into that, and then we can consider it at our next meeting, if that works for you.
That's up to the board. I just wanted to present it because you need 30 to get on the ballot.
Yeah.
I got more than double that.
Yeah.
But this wasn't a vote, Ken. This is a procedure of the select board that.
It's still the voice of the people, Karen.
Yeah.
Well, it's the voice of 68 people. Anyway.
Well, let's just review it, and then
we could have people bringing petitions in for every single decision that we make. We start at 6 o'clock. Well, 70 people want us to start at 7 o'clock. I'm sorry. I just...
What's that?
I said not to move by it myself for the same reasons.
Well, Ken brought it to the table. What I'll do is I'll just do some review, and then we'll address it at a future meeting and move from there. Thank you, Ken.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. Carl? Okay. Nothing further from me for this evening, so I guess I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan.